There are relegation spots and top 4 places to be nailed down. We have team news for you very shortly. In rugby, Leinster and Racing squads are on their way to Bilbao tomorrow ahead of the Champions Cup final showdown on Saturday. Wednesday night rugby will feature Rory O'Connor and Stephen Ferris after 8 o'clock. Dr. Pat O'Callaghan has won 2 Olympic gold medals in the hammer throw. Should have been 3. He watched from the stands in Berlin in 1936. Professor Paul Rouse will tell us all. Ed Joyce is a part of Ireland's squad for a first and historic Irish Test match this Friday. It's on in Malahide. Pakistan are in town. We will talk to Ed Joyce, who is part of that 14-man squad for the first Test match involving an Irish side. And Sky's Enda Brady tells us about the inquiry which has now been launched into accusations of systemic racism at Chelsea. Text number is 53106. We're on Twitter at Off The Ball. Richie is here alongside us. Hello, Richie.
I've just had Kev explain the spelling of Harry to me, which has been a nice experience after.
What? I was trying to explain.
H-A-R-R.
I was actually trying to spell Hyung Min for you because I've seen the way that you spelled. Richie spelled it H-Y-E-N-D or something like that, whatever it was, and it spelled it totally wrong.
Having a nightmare.
So it was Hyung I was trying to explain the spelling to, Rich.
You two realise when I do that thing with the music and the welcome, we're on air now.
Yeah, I know. We've got to start to get that. We've got to start to get the thing in our head.
Really, that's where we give at least the pretense of some kind of polish that we know what we're doing.
Have you done this? Have you told people it's coming up?
Mm-hmm.
Already?
Yeah, you're on. You're live.
Missed that.
So, busy show on the way, as you've gathered from the various
Get it together now, Kev. We started.
Yeah, I'll try my best.
So, there's a few things to mention right off the top. Alex Ferguson, the reporting is that he sat up, the Sun reporting it certainly, and one of the first things he said was, how did Doncaster get on? Which was a good sign, obviously. Darren is
That's a great sign, isn't it? Yeah.
Doncaster, that news came through in the last 24 hours or so. And Jeremy Clay. Are you familiar with the novels of Jeremy Clay, anyone?
No.
Okay. Jeremy Clay took to Twitter. He was once a Leicester-based reporter. And yesterday, and it's gathered momentum on Twitter, he shared a tale of how a Leicester-based London woman was in touch with him to write stories constantly when he was working as a journalist in Leicester about Manchester United. She would regularly turn up and say, you should write about Man United. And he thought this was kind of strange. And he looked into it and turned out that Alice, the woman's name, who lived in Leicestershire, was Manchester United's oldest season ticket holder. This was back in the 80s and 90s. And Jeremy then learned that Alex Ferguson, when he talked a bit more to Alice, had personally organised a bus for Alice every weekend so she could go and follow Manchester United. Every game, he said, all the way to the East Midlands, all the way back, every Saturday, Sunday, whatever Sky demanded, whatever day. And Alice was brought by bus, organised by Alex Ferguson, to every single game. And that was the story he wrote in the Leicester paper about Alex Ferguson and Alice. And then he revealed in the last few days as well that when she was in her 90s, her eyesight began to fail, so she couldn't enjoy the games as much. And Ferguson offered to pay for the surgery on Alice's eyes. And she let Jeremy know about this, but only on the understanding that he would never ever write about it. He said, I think that was the last time I saw Alice. She'll be long gone now. Had she lived to know what Twitter was, she probably wouldn't want me writing about it either. She would have only been worried sick about Sir Alex, so I thought I'd write this anyway.
Ah, that's nice.
It's class, isn't it?
With Alex Ferguson, he is a complex character, as I suppose most are. There are, and always have been, stories on the one hand where he is absolutely knifing people, and then on the other hand there are stories of extreme kindness where it turns out he's been writing letters to his 5th class English teacher for 60 years. A real mixture, and this is one of the kind stories. As you know, it's going to come out at a time like this, but it was a nice touch. So every single game he organised a bus for Alice to get her to the game and back, and then wanted to pay for her eye surgery as well.
That is class. That is a touch of class though, isn't it, as well? I've heard probably a similar sort of thing that you would have heard. I've heard stories from both ends of the spectrum, but I've heard a lot of that where he would go to Christie's Hospital in Manchester, the cancer wards there, and nothing said about it, nothing reported, but just turn up off his own back and go into various hospitals across Manchester, and it was just the way that he was. So yeah, very, very nice.
Eric Cantona has decided to add his voice to those wishing Sir Alex well.
Well, this friend of mine is not doing so well. He's like a mentor to me. He nurtured me. He never judged me. This is such a fight I will pull through. It's very time. You will win. You always do.
the usual bit of French flair.
Bit cringy.
Bit of drama, Rich. Oh, you're a man for a bit of drama.
He's an actor.
Some of the music
granted.
that you're into, it's debatable at times, but you like it. You like a bit of things that's off the wall a bit, really.
I've heard worse voiceovers than that, Richie.
Yeah.
Don't you start, mate.
Hey.
Don't you start.
I mean, on the one hand, it's quite touching from Cantona. On the other, you're waiting for him to say retweet, spread the word.
Like that, but that's what this is. That's this commissioner football gig for Eurosport is something
Yeah,
I'd imagine he'd be doing throughout the World Cup, much like they have McEnroe do the tennis for them. So this is going to be a series where he does these little vignettes to camera, and he's just managed to get a nice heartfelt one in at the start, Joe.
Yeah, there's a touch of making this thing go viral. And then final piece. I mean, I've just spent a lot of the day, as you do, just clicking on.
Have you done any work?
Yeah, lots.
Yeah, too much. have you had a conversation with him today?
I saw him zoned out staring at the window.
Oh, he's flying.
I was thinking.
The boy's flying
I was
today.
thinking at that stage. I'd read some very, very disturbing things about what went on at Chelsea.
Oh no!
And I decided to take some time out to think about it. It's the stuff which went on at Chelsea.
You always have to make it serious, don't you, Joe?
Oh, he's right though.
But
He's right.
It's not as I initially wondered, where it's one of those things where, well, I wonder were they behaving inappropriately, and it's aged very badly, and maybe they didn't know any better at the time, type of scenario.
It was grim at the time, yeah.
And actually, at the time, it was horrifically grim what was going on in the Chelsea youth camp. So when you saw me staring at the window, I was just taking a few minutes after reading that to think, my God.
Yeah, I know.
Anyway, Southampton is my last piece to bring you, Richie.
Well, okay.
They left...
after the go you had at them, the people of Southampton last night, this is want to be good.
So Southampton Football Club, the people who run the social media department, have outdone themselves. They've spent most of the day with their feet up on the table saying, yeah, thank you very much.
There's some top banter.
They went on to TripAdvisor and left a review of the Swansea Marriott.
Oh, no.
So, they say on TripAdvisor has since deleted it. You know, they don't like fake reviews. We had been due to stay here for an extremely important business trip, only to have our reservation cancelled 24 hours before arrival due to an apparent virus outbreak, said the poster. Very disappointing, as other guest bookings seem to be unaffected. Fortunately, the experience didn't sour our trip. Business meeting, extremely productive. Not planning to return anytime soon.
That's not a fake review, though. That should stay up.
That should stay up. It was a disgrace that their stay was cancelled.
They were done in there by the...
Mark Hughes afterwards come out fighting, didn't he, as well, with his comments.
It's one of the worst places we've ever stayed.
Oh yeah, that's what Mark Hughes said. Yeah. Well, I mean, he knifed. Speaking of Sir Alex, keep calling him Sir Alex. Speaking.
You love the all nighthoods, Joe. Sure, Joe's doing the royal wedding thing for TV3.
Speaking of him knifing people, I mean, Mark Hughes gave it to John Moss. I would.
I know you would. That's the problem.
I would. Sign me up. Sign me up.
Radiant.
I've heard that it's on national TV over here.
Oh yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah. Kev, it will be the most watched television programme of the year.
Come on.
And cheap
I'm telling
programming
you.
for them.
Seriously, lads. Honestly,
right behind the Eurovision.
What's going on here?
I'm telling you.
Honestly.
Half this country is obsessed with the Royals.
I can't believe it. Gee, I cannot believe it.
Well,
really
me
can't.
and my mum will be watching.
No. Me and my mum will not.
Right, more to the point, he says mum as well, which is kind of the giveaway that he will be watching the royal wedding. The word is mam, Joe. Mam, you're Irish.
That's Dublin for you, isn't it?
Mum.
Fergie's neither a saint nor a sinner. He, like all of us, has his bad moments and his good moments. I'm no red devil, but of course I wish him a speedy recovery, says Mark. Yeah, it's probably about right, Mark. So, where was I?
Saying mum, talking about
Mark Hughes.
Meghan Markle, something about that.
Oh yeah, well, he got John Moss very nicely the other day.
Oh yeah.
Basically saying he gives frees because he can't keep up with play.
Tore him apart, yeah.
So the Marriott got off lightly. We are here with Air, the home of Air Sport. Get amazing live sporting content free with Air Broadband. We'll talk to Ed Joyce this hour as Ireland play a first historic, obviously, test match. Pakistan are the visitors. That's on Friday. And 8 o'clock will be rugby. We should start, though, Richie, with the news which broke in the last hour or so.
Yeah, just over an hour ago, John O'Shea announced he's to retire from international football. His 118th and final Republic of Ireland cap will come in next month's friendly against the United States at the Aviva Stadium. O'Shea made his international debut under Mick McCarthy in a 2001 friendly with Croatia. The former Manchester United defender missed out on a place in the 2002 World Cup squad, but he did get to represent Ireland at the European Championships in 2012 and 2016, and also captained his country on 17 occasions.
118 caps for John O'Shea. Were you a Josh or a Shazy man?
I called him Josh, yeah. I called him Josh, yeah. That was a Man United thing. The Shazy thing was Man United, wasn't it?
Right?
Yeah.
All the Manchester United nicknames ended in E. Giggsy, Keeney.
Who said Keeney?
They all did.
Yeah, they did, yeah.
Did they?
They all called him Keeney.
Yeah. That's lazy.
Incy, Keeney, Hughesy, Yorkie,
Sharpie.
Incy.
Pally,
Brucey.
Pally, Brucey.
Yeah.
Keep going. Dennis.
Smikey.
It was just Dennis. Rooney,
Yeah.
obviously, yeah. Wazza.
Rooney's just
Ronnie,
his name.
Ronnie as well. Ronaldo. Ronnie. Yeah.
Ronnie.
Yeah, there you go.
But I think isn't there a thing, Kev? You might be better informed. We like a bit of O and they like a bit of E. Certainly in Manchester. So the Irish Indo as opposed to the Indie.
Yeah.
They're more over in England. You're more inclined to have an E.
Yeah, that's true.
Whereas we have
Yeah.
if a Henderson.
Hendo.
Here would be Hendo.
Hendy.
Whereas over there it'd be Hendy.
Yeah.
Would it be handy?
Maybe Hendo. Might be Hendo even there.
Hendo's fair.
Yeah.
You can't do too much with Henderson.
Yeah, but you're right though. You're right. I know. I know what you're saying.
If I say Roy Keane is Keano, over there he's Keeney.
Yeah.
Anyway, John O'Shea then.
I know exactly what you're saying.
issues.
No, I know exactly what you're saying. You're spot on. You are right.
Phew.
You're spot on. Yeah.
Thanks very much.
No, it's good.
He's going to have an even bigger head now. Well done.
Yeah.
393 appearances for Manchester United. I know he hasn't retired from football here, John O'Shea, but I was just having a look. I knew he'd played a lot, but 393, so 400 appearances for Manchester United. He 5 leagues, 1 FA Cup, 1 Champions League, 1 World Club Cup, a bunch of other trophies that don't need to mention, and the 118 appearances for Ireland. I mean, underrated, even though he's not, but he's underrated.
Yeah, he is. I think I remember his debut season, his first season at Man United, where I think he was playing left back in his first season. He was outstanding, simply outstanding. He was
15 years since he nutmegged Figo.
Is that what it
is? About 2 weeks ago.
23rd of April it was, yeah.
Is that what we're all remembering about John O'Shea when he's nutmeg on Luis Figo?
Well, I don't mean this in a critical way, but I did think at that time, my God, this guy's going to be one of the greatest players Ireland
Why? Because you
ever
nutmeg
produced.
Figo. We can do that on the training ground. Anyone can do it to each other.
He was a young lad playing in the Champions League against Real Madrid, and he nutmegged Figo.
He's easily won over his
I
job.
thought the possibilities for this man are
That's
limitless.
just ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's the thought.
It's not ridiculous.
Do you want to take the opinion of a man watching the Royal Wedding?
Honestly, that's just ridiculous.
You're ridiculous.
It is. That just goes on. That's just a standard thing that goes
Did I
on.
lose that argument?
Wow.
Is it because it's Luis Figo and not, I don't know, some fellow that's playing for Rochdale? It doesn't.
Precisely because it's Luis Figo.
Yeah, but that's
in the
ridiculous.
Champions League.
Luis Figo is more likely to get nutmegged because he's not a defender.
Accept that point. I'm just saying the composure he showed so early in his career and the technique, a little nutmeg on the sideline against Real Madrid.
All right.
I thought to myself, this guy will be a starter for Manchester United in his chosen position for 15 years.
Yeah, I think
now, he didn't quite hit that level, but that's an outrageous level.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. You look at where Man United were at that time with the centre halves as well, because that's where he was always destined to play at that stage. And you've got Ferdinand, you've got Vidic, who were around at that time. Who was around just before that as well? Do you probably put it right? I mean, at that stage, you were coming to the end of Ronnie Johnson. Who was around?
Laurent Blanc was around for a while.
Laurent
he was there
Blanc,
for like 1 season.
Yeah, but then you had the mainstay of Ferdinand and Vidic for such a long time, and it was always going to be difficult for him to try and dislodge them. So he had to. He sometimes played in midfield. I remember the goal. The famous thing for me is that goal he scored against Arsenal at the Emirates at Highbury. In the famous Roy Keane and Patrick Vieira spat down the tunnel. He scored a cracking chip that night.
Chip with his left foot.
Played in midfield.
You know what, one thing he doesn't get enough credit for is being so two-footed.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he was 2-footed. He plays good player. You know, this is the thing.
I'm not saying he was bad.
No.
I'm just saying when I saw the nutmeg on Figo.
Yeah, you put him up here. Yes, but
I thought we've got Marcelo meets Dennis Irwin.
But yeah.
At the time, Marcelo was like 9.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
It's not literally
the things that impress you, Joel. That's the thing. But no, he's
an amazing career.
He's a great teammate. Of course, I'm sure there'd be anyone that would have played with him at club level and international level. He was a great lad, brilliant lad to have around as well. But also a great player, great professional, and he will be missed. And it's difficult as well when he gets to the age that he's at now. I think he stayed on for that extra campaign to try and help the younger players that was coming into the squad that were coming into the squad, and he's had a brilliant career, and it probably is the time for him to, if he's not going to get the game time, he's not going to necessarily play the games, it probably is the time, so it's fitting that he is retiring now. I'm delighted.
His statement is amazingly classy. He mentions pretty much early on the under-17s success that he had under Brian Kerr and Noel O'Reilly, like in third paragraph, and equates that to what the under-17s are doing in England this week. And then moves on, talks about the family, mentions Liam Miller. Like, his statement is just pure
He was
class.
close to Liam as well.
Yeah.
He was very, very close to Liam. So that's.
We might read out that full statement then on the football show after 9. So 17-year innings for John O'Shea, and he'll bow out against USA on the 2nd of June. So tonight's football then, Rich?
Yeah, 4 games in the Premier League, and Swansea's relegation to the Championship will be confirmed tonight if Huddersfield pick up a point away to Chelsea. A win for the hosts, however, will see them pull level on points with third place Liverpool. For Chelsea, there's lots of changes for them, with Willy Caballero starting in goal, a back three of Cesar Azpilicueta, Andreas Christensen and Antonio Rudiger. Davide Zappacosta, N'Golo Kante, Cesc Fabregas and Marcos Alonso are across the middle, with Willian and Pedro either side of Alvaro Morata. For Huddersfield, after their sterling effort in a scoreless draw with Manchester City on Sunday, they showed 3 changes with Billing, Van La Parra and De Potre in for Florent Hedergnage, Alex Pritchard and Steve Mounier. Elsewhere tonight, Tottenham are nervously clinging on to 4th spot ahead of the visit of Newcastle to Wembley. Hugo Lloris starts in goal for them. Kieran Trippier, Davinson Sanchez, Jan Vertonghen and Ben Davies make up their back 4. It's Victor Wanyama and Moussa Sissoko sitting in midfield. Christian Eriksen, Dele Alli and Heung-min Son are in behind Harry Kane. For Newcastle, Martin Dubravka's in goal for them. DeAndre Edlin, Jamal Lascelles, Florian Lejeune and Paul Dummett make up their back 4. The familiar midfield now of Matt Ritchie, John Joe Shelvey, Mo Diame and Kennedy, with Ayoze Perez supporting Dwight Gale up front. Arsene Wenger's penultimate game in charge of Arsenal comes away to Leicester tonight, while champions Manchester City play host to the newly safe Brighton. Yaya Toure starts his final game for Manchester City at the Etihad, and Kev will be delighted to know that City are wearing their new jersey tonight.
Oh, brilliant. That's great news, isn't it? That's great news.
He hates all that.
What's going on there?
Well, it's just all this big marketing thing that's been going on for the last...
No, I understand that. What's your problem?
He hates new gear before the end of the season.
It's just advertise it and market it over the summertime, then use it at the start of the new season.
Well, how are you going to get 11-year-olds to beg their mum all summer for the jersey if you don't show it to them?
Wow.
They're going to want an Egypt jersey.
That's another
That's the game we're in, Kev. That's the game you're in.
Is it?
It's the industry you're part of.
It's not, Joe.
You flog jerseys, Kilban.
The only Royals I'm obsessed with are the lads from Kansas City and Andy McEntee's Chargers. Let's have less of this Windsor family nonsense.
Yes, correct. The latter.
On the Royal. That's the best message we've had all evening.
Well, his next sentence is, I'd say Kilban is fit to spit John and Dunshaughlin. Don't worry about Kilban, John. When it comes to nicknames, they end with E in the rest of the country and O in Dublin. Bunch of reprobates in the pale, says Carl in Cork. Is that right? So are you all calling Keen O, Keen E down in Cork? I don't think so.
You're calling out the entire population of Cork now after Southampton last night.
I'm just saying this to Carl in Cork, that I would have thought Ireland generally likes an O. There's obviously E's in there. I'm talking in generalities. But I don't think they're calling Roy Keane Keane down in Cork.
Can we have a poll from the people of Cork?
Yeah.
Yeah, can we get that clarified?
Usually not shy in coming forward, generally the people of Cork with their opinions and things. Where are we going next?
The kick-off time for the Pro 14 final has been changed to avoid a clash with the Champions League final. The game will now kick off 30 minutes earlier at the Aviva Stadium, 6 p.m. now on May 26th. Munster and Leinster will definitely be involved with the sides meeting in the semi-finals on Saturday week. For their part, Echo and the Bunnymen have also moved their gig in Birmingham 3 days later because they don't want to miss the Champions League final either.
Perfect, brilliant. No, it's right though.
Absolutely. I mean, this, Kev, you will not fully appreciate, there has been a long, I think now in fairness it's changing and improving, but a long-standing tradition of GAA people with their hands over their ears and closing their eyes saying, we will not dare change the fixture. I don't care if the World Cup final's on.
Finals.
I don't care if Ireland are playing Cameroon in the World Cup.
No, it's right though, but it's surely the organisations of the different bodies have got to get their heads together and say, well, I'll tell you what, we can't, I'm talking even the football think...
You're applying logic to a situation.
Well, I know that, because we understand that there are a lot of sports fans in general that want to watch. Someone wants to watch the Masters. Someone wants to watch a Premier League game. Somebody wants to watch the rugby. You know, personally, I'd watch the lot if I could. Yeah. But it's not always possible.
Well, I'm pretty sure in 02 there were GAA matches which clashed with Irish matches, or certainly huge.
It would have been difficult. It would have been on pretty early in the morning.
Yeah, I think the Germany one, or the Saudi Arabia one.
I'll tell you what, 1990 was definitely a case where there was definite crossover. There was championship matches clashing with, I know, Ireland-Egypt, I'm almost certain was on a Sunday. And there would have been GAA matches on at the same time, whose attendance has suffered at the time because people were watching the telly. And similarly, the club finals this St Patrick's weekend, there are people watching Joe Malloy on TV3 and Ireland and England instead of being at the club finals in Paddy's Croke Park.
That's a good move from the Pro 14. Lads, if North and South Korea can get along, you three should be able to get along. Very spiky news round tonight, says the Greek god.
Is it?
Shut up, Joe.
I didn't think so.
Well, it's just when you brought up the royal family, Joe. That's what maybe added to the little bit of tension in the air.
Tension in the air.
You're West Brit.
Yeah.
Bloody hell. Where are we on next?
Ireland's Grand Slam winning coaching team will remain unchanged through to the end of next year's World Cup in Japan. Defence coach Andy Farrell, forwards coach Simon Easterby, scrum coach Greg Feek and skills coach Richie Murphy have all signed extensions with the IRFU today. Feek continues in his role despite taking up a position with Japanese club Rico in the coming weeks, and he'll leave the Ireland setup at the end of next year's World Cup. Farrell, Easterby and Murphy will all remain in situ until the summer of 2020. IRFU performance director David Nusafora also paid tribute to the role all four play in their development of young players to the international stage. Ulster looks set to be without their new head coach Dan McFarland until December. Scotland coach Gregor Townsend says it's disappointing that his forwards coach has taken the job and insists he'll be serving out his 9-month notice period with the Scots. Ulster had hoped to secure an early release to allow McFarland to begin work with them this summer.
Yeah, it's not good. We'll ask Stephen first about that. And then Tiger Woods, your last story?
Terry Butler, the new manager of Athlone Town, and Romelu Lukaku likely out of the last 2 Premier League games. But yeah, Tiger Woods will make his first appearance at the Open since 2015 after confirming his entry for this year's event. He won the Claret Jug 3 times, with the most recent of those victories coming at Royal Liverpool in 2006. The tournament gets underway at Carnoustie in July.
We're still chasing the authors of that new Tiger Woods book, by the way. It's very good. It's well worth a read if you're thinking about getting it. You can get it on your Kindle. I don't know about shops, but it's worth a read. Now, Bank of Ireland are giving over their jersey sponsorship to the Irish Heart Foundation for the Guinness Pro 14 semi-final between Leinster and Munster on the 19th of May. It is to mark the launch of the CPR for Schools training programme, which now involves over 300,000 school kids, and it's an issue well worth highlighting because approximately 5,000 people die of sudden cardiac arrest every year. Tonight we're giving away a pair of tickets to the Leinster-Munster game. Prize includes pre-match hospitality and an overnight stay in the Ballsbridge Hotel. To be on the chance of winning, just identify your mystery voice, who says when he's not on the golf course, he loves nothing more than a jamming session with some of his PGA Tour colleagues.
I've been in plenty of shitty groups over the years.
Text your name and answer to 53106 for 30 cents and we'll... That's not your best effort, JP. It's not your best, is all I'm saying.
I like the way he asked for clearance out in the office for that first. That's the best he comes up with.
I've been in plenty of shitty groups over the years.
Text your name and answer to 53106. It's the prize that's important here, people. Text your name and answer to 53106 for 30 cents. We'll announce the winner later on in the show. All thanks to Bank of Ireland's sponsor for a day, Hero the Game Days, Hero the Great Work in Schools, Hero Inspirational Stories. We will run you through team news in the Premier League, go over to the grounds in just a moment. And also Ed Joyce will join us, a first Irish Test match this Friday in Malahide.
Off the Ball on Newstalk.
In association with the Air Sport app, allowing you to cast your favourite sporting action from your tablet or mobile phone straight to your TV.
Newstalk's Talking History is taking to the road as we broadcast live from the Hotel Merrick in Galway on Sunday the 20th of May. We'll be joined by a range of historians on the night to discuss the greatest healthcare challenge in Irish history, the flu pandemic of 1918. What was it? Where did it start? And how did it affect Ireland and the world? To be part of the live audience, simply register at newstalk.com/events. Tickets are free but limited.
Talking History with Patrick Gagan on Newstalk.
On May 25th, we're being asked to vote in a referendum on the regulation of termination of pregnancy. At the moment, Article 40.3.3 of the Constitution means that it is not lawful for a pregnancy to be terminated in Ireland, except when that pregnancy poses a real and substantial risk to the life of the mother, including a risk of suicide. If this referendum is passed, this article will be replaced, and the Oireachtas would then be able to pass laws allowing the termination of pregnancy in other circumstances. If the referendum isn't passed, then the Constitution will remain as it is now, and laws providing for the termination of pregnancy could only be passed in the circumstances currently allowed. The Constitution can only be changed by a vote of the people. Whether you decide to vote yes or vote no, it's important that you use your vote. Everything your vote means is explained at refcom2018.ie, because on May 25th, your vote means everything. Brought to you by the Referendum Commission.
It's always nice when your children have friends over, but they're not the only ones bringing visitors into your home. Unknowingly, your dog or cat can pick up ticks and fleas when outside and carry them back into your home. And these unwelcome visitors can harm your pet. Ticks especially put animals at serious risk. So ask your vet about longer-lasting protection against ticks and fleas, because not all visitors are welcome. A message from MSD Animal Health. See bravopets.ie.
Is your unique style holding you back from selling your home? Is your gnome collection putting buyers off? Nesta Storage can store the things you love, letting